try to not let the team's current success spoil a thing I'm excited about, which is the team finally getting a downtown stadium, something that I want. And so a thing that I'm excited about. But yeah, you're right, man. The timing genuinely could not be worse. It's one of the highest payrolls in team history, a team that had expectations to win the division. And somehow, even though I've already been kicked square in the genitals probably 7 straight nights by the Royals, last night's loss was the worst of all of them somehow. And I didn't think that was possible because it was pretty decidedly getting pretty gut punchy throughout the week. And then last night's game, which you were at, was worse. So I'm going to try, before we discuss the team in a moment, to not let it spoil what a thing I am genuinely excited about. And I think is important for the city. And I like the location. I don't know, maybe they'll give us a rendering to maybe soften the mental blow that is what the team is actively doing. Because, yeah, Gold, it's got to suck to get to finally announce a thing you've been probably dreaming about for years in the middle of, somehow he might get asked a question about the team in the middle of an announcement about a stadium being built in the downtown area that he's been asking for years. It's not fun. Not a fun time to make that announcement, I would say.
Yeah, but they have nobody to blame but themselves.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this has been a 2+ years since the vote. Literally, it's been a little over 2 years now because wasn't the vote middle of April in 2024? And then there's been a lot of hurdles along the way to get to this point. And yeah, I'm excited about downtown baseball. I think it's going to be a great thing for the city, for the team, and everything moving forward. But if you wanted to have full-blown excitement, everybody on board kind of thing, the product on the field certainly is not allowing that to happen. That's just reality. So yeah, you're right. I can be excited. I think you are about the stadium. But, of course, you feel like it's not the same level of excitement because everybody around you, understandably so, is pissed off today. And I'm pissed off. Like, we've talked, 4 or 5 games now this year where you're like, I can't believe they found a way to lose X game. It's only April 21st, and there's been 4 or 5 of them. Last night, maybe I'm more upset because I was in person last night, you said. Like, I was there just as a fan. I was not covering the game, quote-unquote, as a member of the media. I was there with a friend of mine. We were just watching the game. It was a beautiful night out there. Had a great time. Seth Lugo was awesome last night. Cags hit a rocket to dead center. And then inning after inning, men left on base, 13-plus men left on base at one point last night. And I know we will talk about what the solution is, if there is one, with the roster, with coaching, et cetera, in a second. But I will say for one given night in particular, this doesn't mean that he's never made mistakes before, but every single button Matt Quatrero pushed last night just backfired. It just flat out did.
Turned to ash.
The most obvious one that I think everybody's talking about from last night, of course, is Daniel Lynch, who's been their best reliever, period. Daniel Lynch has been their best reliever in 2026 in an otherwise bullpen that's a bunch of you-know-what.
They got a 6.5 earned run average in the bullpen.
It's the worst bullpen in baseball. Daniel Lynch has been the bright spot. 12 pitches. He's cruising. 4 up, 4 down, I believe, right?
Yeah.
They switched to Schreiber. Now, Q in postgame, he was asked about it. He said they liked the matchup with Taylor Ward. Okay? And Schreiber did get Taylor Ward out. But there's still batters after that you got to get out.
Including a left-hander.
And so that made no sense. Made no sense. I guess it's good Daniel Lynch is available tonight because he only pitched 12. Oh, congratulations. You've lost, at that point, 7 in a row. Daniel Lynch getting pulled in that spot made 0 sense whatsoever. Then there was some pinch hitting decisions as well, where all of a sudden your 2 best hitters so far in 2026 are 2 of your best hitters. Carter Jensen and Jack Caglione are no longer available because you decided to make some switches. You had to bring in Diaz to catch. Lane Thomas runs into an out at third base. There's a decision to not have Nick Lofton bunt when the game is tied in extra innings.
Win a game.
But then when Isbell comes up in the next half inning in the exact same scenario, you're down a run and you have Isbell bunt. It made every single decision made no sense last night.
It's so, because you and I are reasonable people. We know that seasons are long. We have people that we really like on the team. So it's not even stuff like that. I don't feel some need to Bobby doesn't need protecting from a team that is struggling. That game slowly made me more and more mad every second it existed, which is a crazy thing to say. But every second, But from the third inning to the fourth to the fifth to the sixth, slowly just getting more and more mad. You know what the straw was that made me just be like, all right, that's it. I can't take this team anymore, at least tonight, was Gold. I somehow, and I don't know why I let myself do this. The moment that broke me last night wasn't even the grand slam. You might think, Cody, that must be the moment that sent you off the edge. The grand slam when it's 2-2, Bobby gets the 2-out hit, and you're like, yes. You had a clutch hit to at least keep this game alive, and then the following inning, they had a grand slam to make it 7-2. You would have thought that was the moment that broke me. No. It was because I was, that I, an idiot, allowed them when the game, I had turned it off. They hit the grand slam, and I'm like, nope, that's it. I'm out. And I wanted to just see the final score to be pacified. And I saw that the bases were loaded, and nobody was out. And that Nick Lofton had just hit a bases clearing double to make it 7-5. And I turned it back on, and I can't believe I let myself do that just to ruin my mood again. I let myself believe again for a second like an idiot. Well, obviously I'm an idiot. I understand that, but I let them do it to me again, and that was frustrating. That whole game, it just like slowly made me more mad. It broke me. And so like now it's just like, damn it. Like, I just like, why? Why is this team so bad? And look, the bullpen is a huge reason why. We'll talk about how to maybe, I don't know, do something about that at some point. But they've lost 8 games in a row.
Well, they're stuck. They're stuck right now too. Here's the thing. So the bullpen, unless we can get into whether or not Avila should get called up and be a bullpen arm or whatever. Fine, but like the bullpen is an absolute disaster. The lineup, there's only so much you can do. And that is okay. Vinny and Salvi are not hitting, but you're not doing anything with either of them. We've talked about you can give Salvi a day off or whatever, but you're not doing anything with Vinny and Salvi. Bobby Wood Jr. obviously is not performing to the level that you expect him to, given a guy that's an MVP type of candidate player and a superstar.
Yeah.
He is far from their problem, but my point is like he's not playing at the same level that he was. Michael Garcia, number wise, has regressed a little bit from last year. Their best hitter right now potentially might even be Jack Caglione, oddly enough. Not just because he had a home run last night, but you just look at his average. And there's not much room to navigate. Their offseason acquisitions, Lane Thomas hasn't provided anything for them this year. Isaac Collins has been a disappointment. Not a disaster, but a disappointment.
Yeah, not quite.
And so go on and on and on. Kyle Isbell, after a nice 5-game start to the season, has gone way back down to earth. This is a bad baseball team, and people want to say, well, then who's going to be held accountable for that? Like I still will continue to say they are not going to fire the manager. No. They're not going to fire the general manager, and nor should they in season. The only individual that I would be completely on board with was someone that last year should not have been still part of this organization, and that's Alex Zumwalt. I don't know how the heck that the hitting can continue to be at this level and for you to retain your current hitting staff. They brought in 2 new pieces. Those 2 guys apparently are just off the hook, by the way, because of the new guys. What the hell are they bringing to the table as well?
In fairness, they've only been around a couple of months, but yeah, they should also be criticized heavily. Look, this goes back to, and I by no means think this show has defended Q. Like, I think he's a normal, perfectly fine manager. Like, I don't really have any issues. The biggest issue I had last night was he managed that game into the ground. Like, chose a bad day, Q, to have your maybe worst managed game as a manager of the Royals. Like, every move, everything you did, whatever the math was telling you, at some point you had to disregard the math and just trust your gut for 5 seconds. So, like, for all the moves that screwed up before then, all the missed bunts, all the missed everything you went up to that point, hell, I'd have just let Lugo go longer. To hell if I'm going to let the bullpen touch this game. Ursack can go 30 pitches in the 9th.
Yeah, I mean, Strom was fine. He was one of the only bright spots last night, along with Lugo.
But, like, then maybe you just needed only 1 inning out of somebody, Yeah. Maybe if you just got into Strom or just had to get 1 inning, like, who knows, right? And so, like, but to every point that they had gotten to, it's like everything was a problem. And then at that time, you still could have just made the right decision, which was let Lynch pitch 1 more inning. Just let him pitch 1 more inning. He's only at 12 pitches. It makes sense. But like every single move they made up to that point, it was and I don't think he like managed different, if that makes sense, right? This is how he's largely managed going into it. But every once in a while, especially when you're stuck in the middle of at that time, a 7-game losing streak for a team that at that point, it had 5 at-bats at the bases loaded and had scored a run, you might just have to use your gut once. I'm not saying it has to be all or one or all or nothing. You and I have said this before. You can't manage just by the numbers. You can't manage just by feel. No, that is not a way to operate or a system that is going to get you anywhere. But in a moment in which you could have just used, like said, man, that guy's dominating. He's got his best stuff. Why the hell would I mess with that tonight? In a game in which we've lost 7 in a row and I desperately need it. And I know he understands the same thing, which is if Lynch gives up the run, he gets questioned. I would have questioned it far less. The bullpen, the Royal starting rotation currently has like the second or third best ERA in all of baseball. It's like a 3.5-ish. The bullpen has a 6.5. And as you pointed out, it's the worst bullpen in baseball. And the problem is for JJ right now is he has now had a number of opportunities 3 seasons in a row to acquire a hitter. And he's over. He's over. Starling Marte, Lane Thomas, all of them. And all the ones from the previous years. He's over. He is yet to find a free agent bat that can help this team. And, like, I understand that, like, that's not where they're spending the big bucks. But it's also, like, they're not finding it. Whether it be Jonathan India or anyone else in between. They're just not acquiring the right hitter. And so, like, the lineup can't even save itself when the guys aren't, like, the normal guys aren't producing. They can't just get a hit from someone at the lower
and this April and this start feels a million times worse. One, because these are excruciating losses and at times non-competitive. But also, on top of it, as we know, the difference for this April versus 3 Aprils ago, Cody, when they had poor starts or they end up winning 54 games in year one of Q and everything, is this year, for the 100th time we will say it, this year, as we all know, and why fans are so upset, this team, expectations from both the organization, from fans, from media, et cetera, was to win the AL Central, to compete in the American League Central, and they are the worst team in baseball. That's why each one of these nights is even more upsetting. And yesterday, I mean, it was the 12th inning, and the minute it was clear that was about to be a home run and a grand slam, I mean, everybody in the stadium, everybody stood up, angry, mad, and just stormed out. And I was one of them as well. I was right there with everybody else. I was in my car by the time Denny was calling the bottom of the 12th inning or whatever it was last night, and the Royals were somehow trying to rally back or whatever. I mean, that thing was over.
Gold was already gone, Cody, and you got brought back in. Gold left the stadium, and you got pulled back in.
I had it on the radio. Look, Drew, you know, like in your life, like happens all the time. Happens in your youth, in your 20s, in your 30s, and you make a decision, and you're like, what the hell was I doing? Like, what was I thinking in that moment? Why did I make this decision? I don't care what it is. I couldn't believe it. Because you know what it is, Drew? I was looking for this, like, the Royals now have had like 3 opportunities in the last week where I'm like, look, you know what it is? Because we talked about this yesterday. I want the Royals to be good. It is important to me, not just because I do a job in sports radio, but because we're in some year-long rut as a sports city. Chiefs' awful season. All 3 locals sucked at college football. Basketball was somehow worse, based on expectation. I could go through all of them. Current lost, even though they were the best NWSL team in regular season. Sporting had a terrible year. UMKC, in a program history that was already pretty awful, somehow made it worse. They at least hired Turgeon. That might be the
highlight of the
highlight of the sports calendar of the last 12 months. It's all gone. It's all just...
It's a major sports funk in the city right now. After being on a heater, for 5+ years, it is a 12-month stretch of suck.
I was looking for a glimmer
when it comes
of hope,
to sports
man.
in this town right now.
I've already been kicked square in the genitals. It was tough, man. That game last night. I mean, it really.
I think you should have just said nuts there. It would have flowed better.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But you know what? But it caught all of it. Didn't describe it well enough. It got both parts. It didn't just get me in the nuts. It got everything.
Thank you for clarifying.
It just, I don't know. I really was, Drew. I think when I turned it back on, it was kind of like that game the other day when we were all texting. We're like, you know what? If they came from behind, Salvi hit the homer. It's like if they can just.
You were hopeful.
If they can just squeeze this one out, it'll give the light at the end of the tunnel that this team needs. Yeah. Maybe that'll propel them. And look, last night wasn't going to do that, right? It wasn't going to do what I thought maybe that home run did the other night with Salvi. Uh-huh. But it was going to let you breathe. Like, it'd be like gasping for breath. You're underwater. You can't even catch a breath. You're trying, and maybe it would allow you to, catch a breath for a second. And instead, it went the complete opposite direction. But you were right. We are in a sports rut. I mean, just a rut in this city. I am trying. I told you.
I'll be honest. I'm thrilled to get to Pittsburgh tomorrow on draft day. I cannot wait for Thursday. And it just, it wears you down.
Yeah.
Fans are fed up, rightfully so. The stadium announcement is one thing. I am excited about downtown baseball, as we said, but it just one. We've also been talking downtown stadium for so long that it naturally was going to lose a little bit of its excitement. But yet, awful timing for them as an organization that this is coinciding with a 9-game losing streak by the time they make the official announcement tomorrow.
Yeah, admittedly, again, it's like I'm going to try not to when they. And I don't know if they'll have a rendering or anything like that at the announcement tomorrow. They probably won't. They'll probably just announce that they're going to build a downtown stadium. I'm going to try, again, something I have wanted for this city for some time. I'm going to try not. I'm going to, I think Carrington said the same thing. It's like, I'm going to try not to let the current team's success spoil his moment. But that's got to be.
Because the stadium's 4 years from now.
It's a real double-edged sword for, I'm sure, Sherman. Because he's wanted this since he bought the team. It has been his main. But in fairness, I think John Sherman would tell you, and I do think genuinely tell you, that the team winning matters to him more than anything else. He is a baseball junkie. He is he's told us this before sitting with us at this time. He's keeps score, knows all the word to, the seventh inning stretch. Like, he is a baseball junkie. He wants the team to win. So this has got to be a tough moment to get to announce something that is very important to him, because he might have to sit at that press conference tomorrow and still talk about the team's performance and not this thing that he's trying to accomplish. And that's not fun. It's not fun. Bad timing. I don't know. Maybe there's no good timing. But certainly if they'd won yesterday, it would have softened the blow a little bit. They just won that one. So you guys all got up and left the second of Grand Slam.
The ball hadn't cleared the fence.
They already knew it was gone.
It was a rope to center, and I stood up, and it was time to go. And there was, at that point in time, the announced attendance was 13,000. A lot of people had already left because it was extra innings. It was a weeknight and everything. Yeah. But the people that were left, a good chunk. Everybody it was one of those quick walks up the steps to the concourse. It's one of those where everybody's just on a
ticked off.
Yeah, like a quick path to their vehicle. Nobody's in a good mood. Everybody's thinking the exact same thing. Get the hell out of here. This team stinks. That's basically the thought process of everybody as we're walking out of the building.
Not fun.
No, it sucked. I love going to baseball games as a fan. It's a beautiful night. It's a great night at the ballpark until
the hot dog and beer.
Now, throughout the whole night, it was frustrating because of the men left on base. What did you say? Was it a what?
Was the hot dog and beer all right, at least?
I ended up just going, I went with some Surfsides and a cheeseburger last night, actually. That's what I went with. I actually didn't go hot dog yesterday.
Wow, surprising. Cheeseburger, huh? At the stadium?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I ever have, cheeseburger doesn't feel like a baseball
There's somebody
food.
out there that won the 50-50 raffle and they say, you know what, actually, it wasn't so bad.
Well,
somebody won the $15,000 raffle last night. You know what, actually?
In pregame, they gave the guy the $25,000 check from the Sonic Slam inning. Jonathan India. Was that the last game they won?
No.
That feels like a
By the way,
lifetime
they had
ago.
the bases loaded in the Sonic Slam inning again. They had the bases loaded, 4 freaking times?
I think that's the frustrating part of that, specifically Jack Caglianone's at bat in that was the worst at bat he gave all night. I think he wanted to put the ball over the wall so damn bad. He's been giving a lot of good quality at bats.
He was going for it on that.
That was the worst at bat he's given in 3 days.
Yeah.
Is he kind of gave one away. And look, it was a good, they were throwing some of the pitches were tough, but he threw one away in the sense of the first hack he took was like Paul Bunyan trying to cut down a 300-pound tree. I mean, he 3,000-pound tree. He tried to swing.
It feels like though that's where we're at. It feels like every player you're at the point now where you're almost doing too much to try to make something happen instead of just.
That's the whole pressing part of it.
Yeah.
That happens with teams.
When they had bases loaded and whatever it was, I know they had it multiple times, but I think it was the 4th inning in particular, and I watched him play. It feels like all of the luck that you would normally get is not on their side, along with the things that also aren't being done well.
On top of the things that are just bad.
Yeah, on top of the things that they're struggling with, the luck of you having bases juiced and no outs and getting no runs from it is just, of course, that's the way that it would go based on how things have gone here.
I'll tell you right now, if you told me that Jack Caglianone had the 3rd best average on the team and the 2nd best on-base percentage, I'd have said this season's going okay. You told me just that one thing. I'd be like, yeah! Oh, man, Jack's playing pretty good. Things must be going fine. And the Royals have one of the top 5 starting pitching staffs again? This season must be going all right. No, quite bad.
Yeah, Boo Birds were out last night, as they should be.
Bobby had a quote after the game about it. He said, maybe sometimes you got to be booed. He's like, it hurts. And it does. I mean, imagine it does hurt.
But it's warranted. I mean, it's pitiful right now for the Royals out at at Kauffman Stadium. By the way, this year, we've partnered with KCUC, who is donating $50 to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for every home run the boys in blue hit this season. 1 in 8 men will face prostate cancer. Early detection saves lives. And at KCUC, Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team, you see the best in KC. Scheduled today at kcuc.com.
Yeah. I mean, Jack got one last night.
He did.
So donate some money,
That moment was fun.
You're on a heater of bets, by the way. I know that.
Yeah, I bet Jack Caglione
Cody
first
did have it. You did have the Cags home run.
I would say the song not going well right now.
The song did not work.
Where that band
Both
is.
songs.
He did get the 2 home runs. What did we say? He hit 250?
250 with 2 home runs, and he's not.
Well, the
doing
first
that.
song didn't work. That's an abject.
Both
failure.
songs are fake. I think Cody's on a 3-month ban.
I agree.
What was when did I sing Pasquantino? Am I at the 7-game mark?
It was last week. At some point, I don't know exactly.
Does anybody remember what
day?
day?
I don't.
What was our day game? Because it was the day game. I think we sent it out
Last Thursday, right?
For 5 tonight to get to 250.
You're on a 3-month. You're on a 3-month ban of singing.
He got the 2 home run part.
Songs did not work, man.
Maybe since your bets have hit the last couple times, you should just bet Royals money line and see if that goes.
I'll take all the profit. Bet the Royals money line tonight, and then we're back.
For what?
I can't fix anything right now. I mean, the songs aren't even.
He's hitting 166 since your song.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dang.
Yeah. He does have 2 home runs, so got one of the 2 stats we put as a benchmark. So if tonight, he's got one more game, technically. So if he goes 10 for 10.
Stop.
10 for 10.
I'm joking. He doesn't have to go that. It's not. It's fine. I understand the band is in.
The only thing saving them from national talking points of play of this team, nationally, everybody's talking about the Mets. It's in New York, and they've lost more in a row. But that's the only thing preventing this from being much more of a national story about how the hell are the Royals, a team that had playoff expectations, playing this kind of baseball.
It's particularly tough, as you mentioned, because of what we talked about with the team, and they convinced Bobby Wood Jr. to sign the extension with the promise of we are going to try to win baseball. And what's funny is it's not that I don't think they're trying. I just think they're doing a bad job of it this year. Because it is one of the highest payrolls they've ever had. It's not like they're not making an active effort, at least from a financial standpoint, and it just hasn't gotten anywhere. So
it is a results-based business, that's for sure.
Draft next, just to cleanse the palate. We can talk more Royals.
Let's talk some draft. It is draft week, and how much is next year's draft maybe impacting the first round on Thursday night? We'll do that next.
What's up, KC? It's Carter Jensen. You're listening to Cody and Gold on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Robside Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
Liberty Mutual customize this song for you. Like your car insurance, it's custom too, yeah. Liberty Mutual's got the coverage that could save you money. Thanks to Doug and Limu, well now you can go and take that cruise. Liberty, 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 yeah.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $400 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $400 in bonus bets. That's just for getting started. When every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action. From player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back those stats up, you can head over to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips. You can check stats, trends, matchups, all in one location, all on the same app, so you can make your picks with confidence. Everything you need on America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't miss your shot. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel is the official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued to non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days on the street, which applies. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and there's a lot of reasons why you should buy from us. How about being Google's highest review rated and your first maintenance is free? Every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. You'll fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
From north, central, south, the Ballaston Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
Draft Spotlights are brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Only pay for what you need. I think Jeremiah Love might be the most talented player in this entire 2026 draft. When I watch him at Notre Dame and any game over the last 2 years, he's the best player in the field, averaging almost 7 yards a carry, and he's a great receiver, catching almost 60 passes in the last 2 years. I could see Jeremiah Love going as early as to that team in Arizona at 3, to that team in Nashville at 4, or maybe that team in New York at 5.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game. Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug! Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down. Hey! Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Royals coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, a contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Scott Parks, and we've launched Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's largest sporting event, presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. Subscribe on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, we're just getting started here on a Tuesday. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Video stream up and running, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That way you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan. Jay Southland Tow Service text line is open, 913-586-7965. Don't forget our draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Lunch. Of course, we have got our draft party here locally at the Brooksider on Thursday. Bink and Chris, Uno Sarah will be broadcasting live. You and I will be calling back into that show. We'll be in Pittsburgh starting, technically tomorrow, but our shows will start on Thursday. We'll be flying during our show tomorrow, but we will be broadcasting for Pittsburgh on Thursday and Friday. Looking forward to that. Let's talk a little draft right now. We'll also head out to Denver in an hour from now and find out what they might be doing and how it can impact the AFC West. But when you think about the Chiefs pick, we know the big three in the top 40. That can change depending on trades, but we all know 9, 29, 40.
Yep.
Where the Chiefs currently sit heading in to Thursday night and ultimately Friday night as well, and for the rest of the weekend. Out of those, let's just say they maintain those picks and they actually select at those spots for the sake of this conversation. How many players in this year's draft do you actually expect need to be starters on day one? Because we all know how important this offseason is, how important this draft is. It's the most important draft of Brett Veach's career, considering where everybody is at in their timeline, considering Andy Reid and how many more years he may or may not have coaching. This is a massive draft. But realistically, of course, I would love to sit here and say every single one has to be a starter. But realistically, how many do they need for 26 to be day one starters, week one, wherever they open up?
I think it's got to be at least 2. I mean, genuinely, I want to say 3. It feels greedy, but 3 feels like the actual number to me. Bare minimum 2. I think the actual answer for taking good strides as a team is 3. But if you're going to have picks, 3 in the top 40 and 4 in the top 74, you got to find multiple starters out of that. And as far as right away goes, at least 2. 1 at corner. How the hell are you not going to start someone at corner? You still don't even have a qualified starter. Plus, you start 3 corners, so that's easy math anyway. And then I think at this point, you got to assume that somebody's going to start on either the offensive line or the linebacker crew, or there's a couple of spots, or the defensive line. There's someone in that crew that's definitively starting.
Yeah, linebacker's interesting. I hope they don't take a linebacker one of their first 3 picks.
No, but it's easier to start in those positions, I guess. They lost Chanel and they lost some, maybe somebody's splitting time with Drew. Some of that I would call a starter because you play 2 or 3 linebackers a pretty equal amount,
If we think in the first 3 picks, at bare minimum, they're drafting a defensive lineman and a corner. And maybe they don't, but let's just say they do. Well, then I'm with you that player or players will be starting on day one. If they draft in the first 3 picks a defensive end, to me, he's virtually a starter right away. If they draft a corner in their first 3 picks, that guy's a day one starter. I'm with you. If they draft a tackle in the first 2, for sure, if not 3, he's a starter. The only position that's tricky is, let's say I tell you they don't draft a wide receiver till 40.
That guy's not a starter.
That guy's not. No, he's going to be the number 3 wide receiver. And
maybe 4.
Fair. Okay, so that's the part that's interesting. If they draft a surprise position, they draft tight end. Clearly, that guy's not starting. They have Travis Kelce still on this roster. So that's why I'll also go 2, but with the caveat, and we'll have this conversation, I'm sure, again on Friday when we know what player and what position, because I do think it can change. Right now, I'll say 2 out of 3. But if you tell me they end up drafting corner, offensive tackle, and defensive lineman, then I'll say all 3 need to be started.
Yeah,
right?
They take defensive lineman at 9 or 29. That's an immediate starter. I mean, come on. Who do they have opposite it? Yeah. That's an immediate starter. Same with corner at 9 or 29. So, that's why I'm assuming they're going to get, and honestly, at 40, corner is probably going to be one of the 3 guys on the field a huge majority of the time. I understand sometimes it's easy to just pencil in a guy who they gave a free agent contract to, but I've always pointed out Christian Fulton's job is on edge. And they lost 2 starting corners. So even if he's a full-time starter again, they still need somebody else.
As of right now,
the only other signing they made was
technically the way the roster is as of now.
Fulton and Noel Williams would be the 2, the main 2 corners right this second.
Because the other guy they signed, they paid $1 million to. That guy's not penciled in.
From Miami,
the Miami Dolphins corner.
Yeah,
he's not penciled in.
If they took Caleb Downs,
instant starter.
He's got to be your
starting
safety.
safety.
But I do wonder, where do they put him? Because you bring in Alohi Gilman, is he the starter? I think that's probably where we lean now, at least thinking. Shamari Connor, you probably move back to
slot,
or I'd rather have him at safety.
Move him back to safety.
Because he struggled at times in man
coverage. I didn't like him at corner.
So I wonder if they took Downs, is that because I agree with Gold that if depends on where if they take Carnell Tate at 9, he has to be your starter. Or
he has to be one of the 2 starting wide receivers.
He has to be one of the 2 starting wide receivers.
Which is interesting, though, is who's the odd man out? It's Worthy, right?
Well, of course it's Worthy. But with the way, I will say, you're right, but we all know with Andy Reid's scheme, I mean, they're going to have...
He'll play.
I mean, if it's a Tate, Lemon, or Tyson at 9, that guy receiver that high, and since he's been the Chiefs head coach...
have to play him.
But would they slow play that? I would not like that, but it would not stun me if week 1, all of a sudden, if Worthy is out snapping Carnell Tate. Like,
week 1 through 5, he probably would. And then
Mm-hmm.
week 6 and on, he probably wouldn't. Look, and this is the thing, like history would tell us, like, Drew, if they take, let's say, a safety at 40, like your instinct would be like, well, that's the starter, right? Not in the Chiefs' history.
Normally, yeah.
Brian Cook, even guys they like, Brian Cook, Shamari Connor, those guys were the rotational safety. And then the following
Like the
year
Jaden
got to
Hicks,
start.
essentially, what he was when he was picked.
But they did that with second-round picks. Like, Brian Cook took a full year to be the full-time starter for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
So the question is, do you think that, and that is how it's gone, because of where the roster is at, and I think we've acknowledged, like, yes, they can play above their roster because they have Patrick Mahomes, and they have done. Even when they won a Super Bowl, they played above what their roster would tell you they were because they have Patrick Mahomes. But this year, he's coming off an ACL, knowing some of the other holes, knowing that some of these young guys are just going to be forced to play. That's the difference. I understand typically Spags and the coaching staff have slow played. Heck, Noel Williams last year, he should have played a lot earlier. He didn't. I don't know this year if they'll even have the luxury to do that. Now, at some positions, maybe.
Because they're just thinner everywhere.
Other positions, I don't think they have a choice. Like, I would throw defensive end in that. If they actually spend one of their first 2 picks on a defensive end, obviously, if it's 9, it's Ruben Bain or somebody like that.
Then July and these other guys got to play.
That guy's playing right away, though. They will not have, like, if they slow play the 9th overall pick as a defensive end, that's just a massive failure.
I guess the problem is like, and I don't disagree, especially the 9th overall pick would be insane. But they've slow played first-round picks. Like, and Felix is the most recent example. But it's just like
that was pick 32, and that was a different roster.
But they didn't with McDuffie, and they didn't with Karlaftis. And you're right, it was a different, and they didn't with Simmons. Worthy, I would say they slow played a little. He wasn't like an immediate guy on the field getting snaps. They still liked throwing it to Hollywood or Juju. Like, they would use the veterans ahead. And they slow walked Xavier Worthy.
When they slow walked Rasheed until Rasheed was forced to play. Like, they even slow walked the 2nd-round wide receiver, too. So, they have that history where.
But they slow walked him. Like, they got Rasheed up to speed even faster than that. Because, like, it was by week 2 or 3, he had like a 100-yard game, wasn't it?
But they had to, because that was
the injuries.
They had the injuries.
That was the Hollywood Brown preseason against the Jags in preseason, and he was out.
It clearly, and this is like, I'll just tell you right now, we should just know this now going into it. If the Chiefs are babying someone a lot going into the season, they're not very good. It's their first-round pick. Like, they're just not going to be a very good.
That's
I'm
the
not
worst
even kidding.
case scenario.
Like, think about it for just now. I want to talk about the ones that they slow walked versus they played immediately. Although, in fairness, they played Clyde immediately, and he didn't end up being very good. Played Nick Bolton immediately. He was good. Played McDuffie and Karlaftis immediately. They were good. Did not play Felix right away. Not good. Slow walked with Xavier Worthy. He's been mediocre at best. Played Simmons right away. Good. Like, it does feel like they got a history of the guys they put in the field in the first-round camp immediately and just thrust into the action like they're a vet. Those guys do seem to pay it. Clyde is the one exception.
But doesn't this go back to the conversation around Brett Veach and the positions that he has excelled at anyway to draft?
Sure,
I think we've acknowledged
Creed
like this regime, they have nailed the less premium position picks, and that's what needs to change in this draft. But they've nailed, for the most part, whenever they've drafted corners. You know, they have been successful drafting linebacker. I understand some people didn't want to pay Nick Bolton, but that pick has worked out. He's been a very, very good player.
I still wouldn't have paid him,
fine.
But yes, I'm not.
But the pick
is not a bad pick,
though, right?
Agreed.
Maybe you don't like the extension, but the pick was fine. We all know about Creed. We know about Trey Smith. Those picks, of course, have worked out. People can differ on whether they would have paid Trey Smith, but he has been an unbelievable draft pick for them. So they have struggled to find that guy at the premium position, wide receiver, defensive end. Although I still count George Karlaftis as a massive hit for them. I understand he's not Myles Garrett, but it's a massive hit for them.
It's hard to find an 8-sack guy at the end of the first round. They've done a good job. That's probably what he averages.
Do you guys think that out of the positions that we think they need the most, corner, edge, you can throw wide receiver or tackle in there, I guess, too. Out of all of those, to me, if edge doesn't hit, like if they take T.J. Parker, Zion Young, whatever at 29, and they're doing what you're saying, Cody, where they're slow playing him, the edge pick not working out is worse than the wide receiver not working, the tackle not working, or in the first round. Then that's the worst case scenario out of any of the picks that they could have not hit.
I would say it's the two. Like if they take a 9 or 29 and either is slowly moved along. Defensive end, because again, there's almost no competition. His competition is 3rd-round pick Ashton Gelati, who had, I don't know, a sack last year. So like very little competition. And then no one else. Like they don't even have like a Dana floating around. And then the competition for tackle, though, is a guy that, at least based on the things that they have done, since the second they signed the guy, indicate they don't think he's a full-time starter in the long haul. Like, if you're a tackle at 29 and you can't beat out Jalen Moore, concerning. Very concerning. Like, that's the other position, Drew, that I was like, wide receiver, they got enough guys. I could see that, like, they take up wide receiver 29. It's taking a little while. I'm not going to write that guy off
If
right
a tackle
away.
is taken at 9 or 29, that guy needs to start at right tackle week 1.
Yeah.
Now, I expect on draft night, if they do that, they will say, oh, we like Jalen. They're going to compete. Like, they're not going to definitively say on draft night that their 29th overall pick at tackle is starting week 1. That's just not how they're going to operate.
No, that's different.
I think we all know how that would likely play out.
What do you think, by the way? Go ahead. Drew.
You were not lying about that. I'm looking at their depth chart right now.
They got no one.
Karlaftis and Ashton Gelati are currently put as the starters, and then your backup to George Karlaftis is Ethan Downs.
I know who that is.
And then Felix is the backup to Ashton Gelati. They might have to take. They might have to take.
Yeah.
They might have to take 2 of them in the draft if they aren't going to sign anybody else.
Or they're going to go back to the free agency pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Mike
some
Dano
vets.
will
Remember,
end up
there
back
are
as a chief
like
or something.
if they don't get who they want in the draft too. I'm not saying they will, but
free agents.
Cam Jordan's still out there, right?
Yeah.
Your guy Calais Campbell, I don't want him, but he's still out there.
Yeah, they've got some options.
So there's definitely some vets. Same thing applies to wide receiver too. Juwan Jennings is still unsigned. There's some other Tyreek Hill. We all know the story. There are other guys. All these teams waiting till post-draft to see how the draft goes. Do they get who they want at this particular position? And then they can pivot from there.
What do you think is going to end up, by the way, having a bigger impact on the draft? Because there's 2 main storylines I consistently see out of NFL front offices and from people who cover the league. Now, maybe they're just hyping it up because the NFL draft, when you cover the NFL, aside from the playoffs and the Super Bowl, is one of the bigger events that seemingly even grabs the casual fan anymore for the NFL. The 2 big storylines that have continued to come up is everybody wants to trade down in this draft because everybody wants draft picks for next year's, apparently, super loaded draft. So it might be a difficult year, be an easy year to move up, but a difficult year to shed picks if you're trying to get into next year. Or the fact that they finally reduced the time from between 10 minutes between first-round picks to 8. A reduction of 2 minutes, because there are some reports that these teams are already setting up, even more so than normal, the trades with teams they would likely make if they want to get up and are considering it already. They're like scheduling them because they feel like that
Some of that
2
already
minute
is
difference is going to have an impact.
Some of that, though, happens all the time, right? I mean, Brett Veach has talked about this for years, where ahead of time, like even the basic stuff, right? They got everybody. They have every GM's phone number. They got every team uses a different trade chart, but they know when they call the Cowboys which trade chart they're using. Like, so that kind of stuff happens. They know, hey, like the Cowboys. I guarantee you, the Cowboys have already, if not, they're doing it today. They are already calling teams in front of them, like the Chiefs, like the Browns, like the Jets, whoever, and they are finding out, hey, would these parameters work for a possible trade up? They have a good idea of what it would already take to move up to that particular spot because they know what draft trade chart the Chiefs are using or the Jets are using. So it's a lot of this stuff happens not even just because it's a shorter time frame. Although I saw that report too, Cody, which is that some GMs are maybe nervous about only having 8 minutes or whatever. As a fan, I love it. We don't need the delay. Come on,
someone who's got to cover it on Thursday night. I love it. Like you're going to be staying at the draft. The fact that they got to move this thing along, and I understand why they do it because TV time is valuable and all this other stuff. I genuinely think you should be fine for waiting as long as you do with the first round pick when we all know who you're going to take. It's annoying.
Oh, the Raiders want to have their time on the clock.
I know. They wanted to say on the clock and then submit it. It was 7:50. I'm going to laugh. One of these times, one of these teams who tempts fate like this, they're going to screw it up and not turn the damn thing in. That some guy's going to trip on his way over to the table.
No.
I'm going to laugh as somebody jumps out and be like, oh, hey, idiots. We'll take Fernando Mendoza. It's going to be the Vikings pick. Was it the Vikings? Who was it that missed their pick and a couple teams picked in front of them? You guys remember?
I do not remember.
Oh, man, I was counting.
I didn't know that actually ever happened.
Yeah, that actually happened. It was 2000s, early 2000s, I think. I mean, I was a kid, but I wasn't like that yet.
How embarrassing is
The
that?
Vikings. It was the
03.
Vikings. 03. They ran out of time while negotiating a trade that fell through. The Vikings were trying to trade the pick, but the Ravens did not confirm the deal in time. Consequently, they got skipped by the Jags. And it wasn't even like pick 22, someone jumped ahead of you. Legitimately, 2 teams jumped ahead of them because of how late they were making a pick. Man, that would be it for me from an organization. Be like, well, you got to fire everybody because leadership's bad. What the hell are you guys doing? Can't even make a selection? Were the Vikings bad in 2003, or did they survive that okay?
I have no idea.
That feels like the Dante Culpepper. That feels like
they were 9-7.
I was like, that actually feels
in
like
03. I don't know if that was the 03 draft or the 03 season. They were 9-7. That was Mike and all that. The boat trip or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Was that the same era?
Might have been. It was definitely Culpepper era. 2003 was definitely Culpepper, but it might not have been like maybe was it maximum Dante Culpepper like when Randy Moss.
The boat party scandal was 05. Okay, never mind. 2 years later.
Okay.
On Lake Minnetonka.
If we're talking
Drew probably doesn't remember that either.
No. If we're talking impact, though, out of the two things that you mentioned, it feels like the whole thing for next year's draft is more impactful, but for maybe not for this year necessarily. Like, we're not going to remember it until next year. Like let's say the Chiefs, I don't know, trade back from 9, and they happen to pick up a 27th third or something like that when they move back. It's not going to mean anything immediately, but next year when it comes back up again and the draft is as good as advertised, then it's like, oh, yeah, remember that. That actually is really going to be nice to have an extra piece to add somebody else in a draft that's way deeper than this year.
Even more than, and I think this is where, it's the picks in next year that matter to the Chiefs more. Maybe not the entire NFL draft, but at least the Chiefs. I do not want them falling in love with some prospect this year and giving up into next year. You don't get more picks into next year, so what? You got all your picks, so be it. I'm comfortable with you just having your normal selection of NFL draft picks. But if you start trading into next year and you're willing to give up assets in a year where you already have plenty of draft assets, you don't have to. You have the third most top 100 picks in this year's draft. You have like the fourth most total number of picks. You don't need to do anything that puts at risk picks you have in next year's draft. Do not, like if you're the Chiefs specifically, it is not a risk worth taking. So don't trade into next year. That is not a good strategy for you. Even if you don't get additional picks, which I'd be fine with into next year, knowing that the draft is as loaded as it is. I do think it's important for them, Gold, to like protect what they do have next year. Rather than, because they do like trading into the future. They love just giving up thirds for Kadarius Toney or fifths for DeAndre Hopkins.
I still can't believe they gave that up.
A third for Toney, that one is still kind of like nuts. Like I look back at that, I was like, what did you guys ever think was happening there? He had like 500 career yards and they give him a third. Good for the Giants. That was a great deal for them.
Someone on the text line was saying, maybe the Vikings got hit with and it threw them off a little bit when they were trying to make that trade.
Somebody says, "Where can I watch the draft on TV?" I don't know, ESPN,
NFL Network.
I think it's on ABC as well. Isn't
all
it?
three, whatever. Listen to draft coverage 96.5 The Fan.
That as well.
Yeah.
You can hear Jay Binkley live reacting to the 9th overall and the 29th overall picks.
Somebody says the Ravens did that. The card. They said they did that on purpose.
Oh.
Did they? Is there
I would
like a
never
story?
do
I
business
hate
with
this
you
pick,
again.
Actually, don't like it.
I guess you're saying you'd never do business with them again, but we were just talking about that
There
with
are
the
circumstances, though.
We just talked about that with the Ravens deal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like the way the whole Max Crosby thing went down when they clearly just got cold feet and then decided to, go back on the trade. I'm still fascinated to see what kind of year he has for the Raiders because it feels like he might be on one.
Do the Raiders play Baltimore this year?
Do the Chiefs play the North?
No, the Chiefs play Cincy, but they don't play the whole division.
They play the East this year, right?
AFC East, yeah.
Yeah.
They do not play.
That's too bad.
The Ravens. Bummer.
Month from now, by the month from this time next month, we'll know the schedule. Actually, should know it even earlier than that, but we'll know the full schedule in terms of
dates,
dates and prime time or not prime time. And
I
all
like
that kind
schedule.
Of stuff.
I like schedule release day.
It
brings me a little joy because I kind of get a sense of like.
Well, this year in particular, because we all want to know if Mahomes has to miss any time, who the hell are they playing week 1 and 2? So this year it's more intriguing. And then selfishly, and I know others are like this, you're trying to plan out your fall and are you going to go on a road game or not? And so I want to know when the Chiefs are playing out in LA against the Rams because that's the game I'm planning on going to. So I want to know, is it happen? Like if it happens on Thanksgiving, I'm not going. So I just want to know when that game's taking place. Confirmed whether or not, we still don't know that Falcons international game. We don't know if the Falcons if that's an international possibility or is a possibility, but are the Chiefs playing that game in Atlanta? Or are they playing that in, what would that be, Madrid?
Yeah, some version of that. I mean, it's only the one game they would get out of that, so, we'll see which way it goes. Somebody is correctly pointing out, I'd forgotten, the Chiefs do already have an extra pick in next year's draft because they got the Rams 2027.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
Third rounder?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
I think so, yeah. So
it's a good spot to be in.
Yeah, because they got a 5th and a 6th this year, and then they picked up a 3rd next year's draft, right? But they've also given up, I think, some picks in the later rounds already in 2027. because they gave up 2027 6th or 7th for Justin Fields.
That's right.
I still think that's where it is interesting because, Gold, I think you referenced it yesterday that I don't know what the consensus is exactly on Mansour Delane, but I think you mentioned that he could be a top 5 corner very soon just based on the trajectory of the talent
Day one
that he
starter,
has.
chance to be one of those top guys.
Yeah, I think that makes it, again, where, again, I wouldn't have traded Trent McDuffie, but I think in the scenario in which they do take Mansour Delane, and you have those picks where, let's say Mansour Delane works out and you immediately replace the guy that you let walk and you have some more cap space left over where instead of having to go for a corner back-to-back seasons because the guy you take didn't work out or you waited a little bit too long because you wanted to take an edge or a wide receiver, you can utilize those picks that are next year's and still recoup the production, at least somewhat, that you got from Trent McDuffie from Mansour Delane.
Someone was asking, are we going to call in the Hotline Bink today? We are thinking about it. Hotline Bink starts at noon.
You guys should call in.
Goes till noon, or goes till 2.
He's already here.
He's already here. I see him over there. He's not listening, so this is perfect. I think we should prank call Bink.
Are you sure he's not listening?
No, but I think we should prank call Bink at around like 12:30 or something and call into Hotline Bink.
Can't tell.
Get some draft advice, you know?
I hate this pick, actually. Don't like it.
Somebody says I have too many draft ultimatums. It's hard to say. No, I'm pretty similar. I am almost always anti-trade up. Like 95% of the time, I'm against trading up. Maybe 90%, maybe 95 is too high. And I don't think the Chiefs specifically should take a corner with the 9th overall pick because they don't sign him to extensions.
We're not going to do this mock draft, but I saw Mina Kimes and, gosh, I forget who else.
Ben Solak? She does a lot of stuff with him.
Was it? I don't know if it was Ben, but she did her mock draft, and the way that she does it, she gives she gives options at picks, and I think I know
the only player that I wouldn't be like actively
David Bailey though.
David Bailey, big fan of, and they would have to trade up in order to get him. I just don't think they should trade up. But I hear you.
But we're not going to talk about that one. But yeah,
okay,
thought that was interesting.
I don't know.
Considering you brought up the trades,
I don't like trading up.
The trade up ultimatum, Cody.
By the way, we have decades of historical data that suggests trading up is a bad idea. It just doesn't work. It is less successful than just staying with your pick or trading down. Trading down is actually a far more 2 decades worth statistical likelihood of success.
There's always exceptions. Okay,
of course, they traded up for Trent McDuffie. They traded up for Trent
Mahomes.
Or what did I say?
You were about to say Trent Mahomes. You were about to say Trent Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Shout
so I'm not saying it can't work, but like historically, it's quarterback is one of the times I would absolutely make the exception for trading up.
Nathan mentioned it was Dane Brugler in Mina Kimes. That was who it was.
Thank you, Nathan.
Yes,
there you go.
Thank you.
All right, up next, guys, let's get back into the Royals. I think it's too early for this. Trends are out there.
Sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
For more than 30 years, people have been trusting Centric when they're in search of that brand new career. That's why they're the trusted tech training and solution partner here in Kansas City. They have helped thousands of people start new IT careers with their accelerated hands-on training. Remember, in as little as 4 months, you can have a brand new career.
I think what's always been nice about it, and what we keep mentioning, is on your schedule. Maybe you got a full-time job that you can't leave, got to pay the bills. Well, they can do online. They can do evening classes. They tailor it to you to make sure you get in that career that will start off your life in a different way. I've told you before, my nephew's done it. I don't know how many countless people have now told us at remotes or things like that they've gone through the program and what a difference it made for them. And you and I got that experience hands-on at their tech summit, finding out the people who went from delivery driver, EMT, or a million other jobs and into that IT career.
So call our friend Russ Mondry, 913-322-7000, 913-322-7000, or go to centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America NA, member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Over time, your home's exterior takes a beating. You might notice faded colors or peeling paint. You need to call my friends at CertaPro Painters, whether you're thinking about the inside or outside of your home. Their free estimates are detailed and easy to understand, and you'll get a quote right away. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. And remember, each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack. Jack had a home he needed to sell fast. And Jack thought he had it all figured out. So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers. Jack chose the highest offer. But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out, leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do. Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer. Jack got suckered. Make sure you aren't hung out to dry. Call our dad at Rex Buys KC. Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals. No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises. Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process. Now, don't be like Jack. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Baseball is back, and BetMGM, official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boost, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB same-game parlay boost. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boost, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right. You pay what we pay on any in-stock tires from Telly's QT and Lifetime Tire Protection. Gas and grocery prices may be going up, but there's never been a better time to buy tires. Reserve yours now at TELLEtire.com before our sale ends. Take care of your car. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
I need a little range. Step to the range.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Club at Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A original spicy or grilled chicken, a buttermilk ranch bun, candied bacon, pepper jack cheese, and jalapeno ranch sauce. It's got big ranch vibes with a little heat. Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue. Join us at the Fans Draft Party at the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill on April 23rd for your chance to win $965 in our draft contest. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock here on Cody and Gold. Coming up in a half hour, we will head out to Denver, check in on the Denver Broncos as we're going around the AFC West a little bit ahead of draft night, find out what they are doing. They do not have a first-round pick. They use that to go acquire Jalen Waddle to add to that wide receiver room. So it's Sutton and Waddle. We know the Broncos won 14 games a year ago. They lost in the AFC title game. Bo Nix got hurt. So a lot to get into with Zack By from 104.3 The Fan out in Denver. Looking forward to that in about 25 minutes or so. We also will get back into draft week as it pertains to the Chiefs here in just a little bit, and how some veterans could play a role in how they draft as well coming up in a little bit. But back to the Royals. We started the show talking about just I think last night was the worst loss of the season. I know I
think I've said that three times now, unfortunately.
And that's a bad thing. It's April 21st, and there are 4 examples that you can give of painful, heartbreaking type of performances. Yesterday was a whole other level. The extra inning loss, double-digit men left on base, decisions in the bullpen late. We'll get back into the game specifically around noon or so today. But you mentioned this, and I'll be honest, I'm not ready for this conversation. Maybe some of you are. I don't think it will be one for another couple of weeks. And no, I'm not talking about coaching. You said, hey, when do people start having conversations about long-term pieces versus short-term pieces, and therefore acquisitions moving forward?
Okay, it's now. Like I say that knowing every year is different, every team is different. This team was built with winning now in mind and winning during the Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez era. And so if they're in place now and you're supposed to do this, there's 2 things I think are not too early. 1, talking to teams about acquiring bullpen pieces, and specifically bullpen pieces. It's too early to try to acquire an outfielder. It's too early to try to do those kinds of things. It is not too early to fix your bullpen because it's the worst in baseball and you got to do something about it. And with the unknown of when Carlos Estevez might ever be available, because, JJ said a week ago that they were hoping within 5 days he would start a rehab assignment. I don't think he started one yet. Nope. So clearly not moving in a direction with that just yet. So his arm speed's still not there. And you don't even know if he'll be good when he's back. You have 2 choices. Right. You can either trade for a bullpen right now, or you can stop kidding around and stretching out Stephen Kolek and stretching out Avila, and you can put them in the bullpen immediately and just start getting rid of the arms who don't get outs for you.
Well, I would rather
I don't know why
do
that's
that.
not. I don't know why that should be in play today. No more stretching out their bullpen arms now.
I would rather do that approach than going out and trading for a bullpen arm. I would rather just have Avila be in the bullpen for them. Like that to me would be the more realistic option. As far as trading away anybody and all that kind of stuff, we are still weeks away from having those conversations. Because I saw a little bit of that yesterday as well. And some people were texting into the show earlier today saying, hey, when should they look to start trading, whatever. They're not doing that this year. It's April 21st. And I don't know why, people get very upset when I say it's April 21st. They're not firing so-and-so and they're not trading so-and-so. Teams just don't do that. There's exceptions to the rule. But for those of you that are like, wow, Seth Lugo was amazing, they should be. Nobody's trading for him right now, and they're not shopping him right now.
The problem
That's a conversation. If this team continues on this path 3 weeks from now, well, then his name's going to get starting to be linked to articles and all that kind of stuff, and we'll start talking about it. Sure. But on April 21st, I'm not going to suggest that they should trade away their second best pitcher on the team.
No, so and look, if we listen to every trade request from the text line, then the Chiefs wouldn't have Andy Reid be fired, Vinny, Bobby, Lugo, Reagans. I'm trying to think, Michael Garcia. I'm trying to remember who'd be left. No one, essentially, on either squad. What I'm saying, like, I'll tell you right now, I don't care if it's a 4A former major leaguer or a guy who can't get through one of the best bullpens. I don't care if they're trained for a minor leaguer. You got to try something in the bullpen. These guys stink. Like, I mean, just plain and simple. You got 7 stinky arms. Try to get one good one. You got Daniel Lynch and Strahm pitching okay, and everyone else is awful. And so you got to do something about it. Like, I would probably, as you said, go with the simple solution. The simple solution is Kolek is coming off of 5 shutout innings in which he was a starting pitcher. Good news for you, Kolek, or bad news, depending how you look at it. You're a reliever now. And Avila, you're a reliever now. Honestly, I would just even swap out guys in AAA who are performing well. They can't, and I do mean this, can't do worse than the active bullpen's doing. It's the worst in baseball from an ERA perspective. And so they've got to start doing, you can't just like count on, and look, the truth is, this isn't one of those like, I see all the names. It's like the lineup, right? You see the names and you understand they're better than their stats right now. Like, I know that. Fundamentally, I know that with guys like Vinny or Bobby or Salvi or any of it. It's like, Bobby's stats are fine. But you look at the stats other than the homers. You look at the stats and you're like, well, they're better than that. Who in the bullpen is better than who they are? Nick Mears? You hadn't heard of the guy till he was a throw-in in a trade. And then Urseg, who clearly does not look the same. Maybe 2 years ago, Urseg, we're having a good conversation. But Schreiber, Falter, Eli Morgan, Mason Black, these are the game. No, we can change these guys out and immediately.
Alex Lang last night.
Yeah, Alex Lang last night. You can trade these guys out. And I don't mean like trade them away. I mean, you're back to the minors and somebody else is in your spot and likely relying on that starting pitching depth you were hoping to have for when a starting pitcher eventually gets hurt. Sorry, it's a break glass in case of emergency situation now. The team's lost 8 games in a row. They're 9 games under 500.
They're the worst team in baseball right now.
Yeah, like it's like I understand wanting to protect your rotational depth. You don't get to do that if you're in an emergency crisis situation, which this team is in. That's the other reason why. Gold, you know me. I call for trades. I don't call from that early. The only outfielder I trade for today is Mike Trout if he's available. But he's not. So I wanted to trade for him last year. Would have been too early last year. Now he's good again. Until he gets hurt.
Top text 913. You guys won't call for Q to be fired because he comes on your show. He doesn't come on the show, so thank you very much for listening. Does not come on this show. That is inaccurate for starters. And so we keep getting that text. Just at least be knowledgeable if you're going to try to call us out. And as I've told you multiple times, they're not firing the manager or the general manager, so there is not a reason for me to come on the air and say that. I also don't believe either should be fired yet. I told you who should be fired. I told you that in October. Alex Zumwalt. That's the only person I would not have on the staff currently still. Now, by the end of the season, if it continues to be where they're the worst team in baseball, then we can have a conversation about both of those individuals. But yeah, that's always the funniest thing. This happens in every single market as well. You don't ask the hard questions. Nobody goes, I don't care if you're in New York or whatever, in April and goes and asks the general manager, hey, how come you haven't fired your manager? That's just not reality. We try to be realistic for a second here. But again, he doesn't come on our show anyway. So I appreciate you trying to take the shot at the show, but he doesn't even come on the show. You can talk to the morning show about Matt Quatrero.
But it's also just, and again, take the timing out of it, which is more than fair, because having a conversation about if someone's going to make it the season or if they deserve, I know they're not going to do anything. So yeah, I don't feel this need to if I come on this, I think that's saying I have more power than I do. That if I come on this show and I'm like, fire Q, Sherman's going to be like, you know what? That's a great point. See you later. That's not the power I possess. But also, I think at this point, knowing what I think about baseball managers and that they do have an impact in the game, but that it's less than an NFL coach with these things. Q could not single-handedly put this team in the position. This isn't just on Q, right? He's part of the problem, or at least has been part of the problem this year.
I also recognize,
but he's certainly not the only problem.
I also recognize if the results continue like this, eventually down the road, it will cost people their jobs. All that can be true.
God, they've got, and this goes back to this, but they got a real limited amount of time if they are hanging on to the let's right the ship. We can still, and they got to tell themselves that internally. That's not even what I mean. If you're Q today, if you're Vinny, if you're one of the leaders, the message today is we still have time to fix this. Nothing is over till it's over. Let's get it together. Let's focus on these things. And if you're JJ, though, I would say he had come on with us on Tuesday and he said moving the lineup, doing all this stuff, that'd be a panic move. And I agreed last Tuesday, a week ago, that would have been a panic move. It's not panic now. I know it's April 21st, so it seems like, how could a week make a difference? You lost every game in between when we had that conversation with you and today. And so, like, now it is time to, like, test your bullpen depth in AAA or see if there's a 4A reliever that maybe throws 97 and you hope they still got something.
It can't be
for
status
an
quo.
overpay. But you can't just sit on your hands and hope one day it'll all just turn around at this point. It's just not a good way to operate.
Yeah, there's got to be a balance somewhere in there where of like getting mad about not suggesting somebody should be fired, but also recognizing that you can't be status quo. There's some middle ground that when someone says they don't want somebody fired does not mean they think everything is okay and that there's not mistakes being made. Hell, last night we started the show today. Last night I thought Matt Quatraro, just about every button he pushed was wrong. Last night
it was the worst game he's managed.
That doesn't automatically mean that you have to be on the side that he should be fired today. Like, but you can acknowledge both. I think sometimes it's like, well, if he had everything wrong last night, then how do you not want him fired? And that's just not. It's a 162 game season. Now, do I think this team has put themselves in a hole so that they can bounce out of? No, Cody, I don't. Like, I don't think that they're in a spot that they are going to recover fully to get back to where they needed to be, which is competing for a playoff spot. No, I actually do not think that's how bad it is. I have not seen a glimmer for more than a 2-day stretch of a quality baseball team.
Well, it's been a long time since we saw that 2-day stretch is the issue. And so you're just stuck in a world where, like, yeah, if you're going to make me predict today, do the Royals make the playoffs? Like, I mean, how can I say yes today?
They're minus 330 to not make the playoffs.
Oh, man. Ugh, that bad? Oof. I knew it was bad. I just don't know how. I don't think I realized it was going to be minus 330. It was going to be like Wemby to win Defensive Player of the Year or whatever. No, I genuinely, like, it kind of comes back to the same thing. Like, if they put me in charge, like today, it was my job to get to make move. I get 24 hours to make whatever move I want for the Royals. I'm in charge. This isn't we don't normally do it in April. We wait till then. I wouldn't fire Q. I would change a number of bullpen arms.
Well, I would have a different hitting coach. That would have already happened. That would have happened back in October.
But I wouldn't fire Q, and I wouldn't fire JJ. And I would, like, there are things like I'm not there yet, even if I do think Q is a part of the problem right now. He is.
And so what would you do, though? Because I would have a different hitting coach already. I would have Vinny would be further down in the order. I would have Jack Caglione further up in the order.
I'll tell you
You have to move. Like, Vinny and Salvia got to stay in the lineup because that's just your only solution of getting out of this. There still are going to be the two guys that help you do that, but you got to move them down in the order a little
Salvia would get a mandatory 1 day a week off. Yeah. And he would have to DH half of the week. That would be the first move I'd make. He'd move down the order. Everyone else would stay roughly in the same spot. Carter and Cags would move up. Cags would certainly move ahead of Massey and some of the other guys he's been hitting behind. I would then immediately move some of the relievers I just mentioned to you up to the major league level and move some other guys down to the minor league level. And I would shift the way I am doing that. And here's the problem. I guess at this point, my high leverage guys would be two lefties in Strom and Lynch. So that can't work. So now I got to figure out Avila would probably end up being a leverage guy for me in my 24 hours of power. Like, and again, I can't even promise you that this would solve it, but it's just like, if you put me in charge, that's what I would do. You know what the hitting coach one and the reason why you're right on that one is I saw the stat today and it broke me. The Royals as a team see the highest percentage of fastballs than anybody else in Major League Baseball. And they're the worst at hitting.
Where's the adjustment there?
Fastballs?
Where's the adjustment
there?
You're
bad at hitting fastballs? That's like the one thing everyone hits. Like, come on. They're throwing you more fast. You know how ice cold you are if you get more fastballs than any team in baseball? That's a problem.
Yeah. That's the approach at the plate. I mean, they're sitting there and
free swinging.
Free swinging, or they're taking the first pitch and automatically set themselves down on the count.
Yeah, they are doing. They take a lot of pitches down the middle. They strike out watching far too much for a team that's functional. I will say, I don't know when we'll have it ready, but Mike Vrabel, they announced he's going to address the media.
We have a statement.
What do you think he said?
We have a statement. I haven't heard it. It's in the system.
You want to hear the whole thing? It's a minute of it. But
it's a minute 12. Mike Vrabel did finally address the, of course, scandal. Diana Rossini, we all know how that has transpired. It's been, 3 weeks now that this thing started? I have not heard this either, so this will be the first time I hear. This was Mike Vrabel. Was this a formal media setting? What was this?
Yes, it was,
All right.
I've had some difficult conversations with people that I care about, with my family, the organization, the coaches, the players. Those have been positive and productive. We believe in order to be successful on and off the field, you have to make good decisions. That includes me, that starts with me. We never want our actions to negatively affect the team. We never want to be the cause of a distraction. Those are comments and questions that I've answered for the team and with the team. We'll keep those private and to ourselves. Care deeply about this football team, and I'm excited to coach them. I also know that I'm going to attack each day with humility and focus. And what I can promise you is that my family, this organization, the team, the staff, the coaches, everybody, our fans, most importantly, will get the best version of me going forward. And that's what I know, and I'm excited to do that. But I wanted to just address this and thank you for your patience in dealing with the private and personal matter.
Again, he was not scheduled to speak. I know your big criticism last week was that he hadn't spoke about it.
Mm-hmm.
He did. Now you can say
he ducked it.
Okay, so here's where there's sometimes. So
it's fine. He did talk. I give him credit for that.
I'm not everybody first.
So I'm not saying that you have to be like thrilled with what he said. I'm just saying, like, what? I'll be honest. Like, what did you expect him to say when he finally spoke, though? What did you expect him to say?
I guess I expected him to say, "I made a mistake and I'm sorry." I don't think that's crazy. He didn't admit to anything, but he also didn't deny anything. That's an interesting
he said
approach.
difficult conversations with family and those close to me.
Do you think
said he
that's
wanted
an
to
admittance
speak.
of guilt?
I think when he's claiming he had difficult conversation with his family and those close to him, I think it's acknowledging those photos are obviously extremely damning.
I'll tell you right now, if I was in that podium and I didn't do it, I'd be screaming it from the rafters, as you had pointed out, I think.
Yeah.
Like, if I were Mike Vrabel right there and I didn't do it, I'd be like, it's not what it purported. I don't know why they're saying that. Instead of saying difficult conversations, I assume you're right, Gold, that that is at least somewhat an admittance of fault.
I think the fact that he finally spoke is a good thing and needed from a PR angle as well to get it done before the draft. And now they will say they're moving on and they won't probably ever address it again.
No.
That'll be kind of where they go moving forward.
And look, he doesn't have to get asked about it at every single thing.
He's not going
either.
to.
And he won't at every single thing. That would be, but like, and he said, I wanted to talk to
he
literally
gave the
everybody
standard.
before.
He gave he did the bare minimum. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it.
I'm not going to applaud, but he did the bare minimum. I don't think he was going to ever do more than that, though.
I guess
if you had
the statement from Diana Rossini was the bare minimum as well. I mean, that neither one was going to get into detail with anybody and explain exactly what happened.
I don't think we're going to hear any more
we've been
about
in a
this.
relationship
The
for 8 years.
the part we do not know about, and that the NFL has, I think, intentionally tried to temper down, which is take the personal, morality part out of it. I'm talking like, hey, were there text messages where clearly there was some tampering going on because of their relation? That's the bigger NFL scandal. But the NFL has quickly said, we're not even going to try to investigate that. They don't want to go down that road.
Because she can have an influence over things that happen in league circles and probably does at times. Yeah. The idea that she was close, very close with at least one coach, or at least this coach.
We got the bare minimum statement there from her.
I do think, and look, this is always like a read between the lines. I think that if there was nothing going on there, unlike the initial statement, if there was nothing going on there, he would have said that in his statement. He would have said,
I think both of them would have.
They would have denied.
He would have simply just said,
what you're saying.
Diana and I, or Mr. Rossini and I's relationship together is purely professional. I think that line would have been in that press conference if that's what was going on.
Like Gold said, though, the photos, I don't think there's anything to say about the.
I think we all know.
I mean,
anybody with.
I told you I don't stand around interlocking fingers.
Anybody with common sense at this point, I think, understands what was going on. I mean, you would truly have to be. I'll just call it. You'd have to be pretty ignorant to, or you would want to not believe it. Like if you're this is their own decision, right? If you're in that relationship and you're the spouse, you would have to just want to not believe something happened. Otherwise, you're a complete moron. But like this text, someone says, can you explain the issue here? Why can't he have sex with this woman? My bad. I'm not caught up.
They're both married.
Well, from a moral standpoint, they're both married. Now, from a industry-wide thing is,
an ethical part, there's a question there, too.
One's a reporter, one's a coach. Information was probably being shared. That could jeopardize the ability for her to do her job. I don't think it has as much of an impact on his job, but if there was issue of tampering where he was intentionally misleading to help his case, that's a much bigger scandal. I don't know if we're ever going to get to that point because the NFL has said they're not going
They don't
to
want to look into it.
So I think, honestly, this is
Can of worms.
Other than her one day, Diana Rossini one day doing an interview somewhere, because at some point I'm guessing she will down the road, whenever that is.
She will.
I think this is kind of over. I really
think it's probably
kind of
over until if she decides to disclose anything. Because the problem is that her career is wrecked. Wrecked.
Yeah.
Like, it is going to be hard for her to ever do the things she did do. Now, she could do a sidestep in media, right? Where you're not an insider, but you do a popular podcast like lots of different
she'll
people
end
do,
up
right?
getting
Or
a job at a different online outlet or something.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
it's
so,
a podcast or something. I don't know.
And so at that moment, she's going to have to make the decision about whether or not to discuss that publicly or to let that go. But it's just like, and just move on past that. But like, yeah, I think he did more than I. Now, look, here's the thing. He was going to have to sit in front of a podium eventually. Wasn't going to get to dodge it forever.
Sure.
Man, waited 2 weeks to get his toe in the water. So, like, it's still the bare minimum effort. He was going to have to be in front of a media member at some point. And the second he was, someone was going to ask him about it. He did this the probably best PR way imaginable, which I don't blame him for doing. That's what I would do.
Well, because they don't want
if
the next.
I were in a bunch of trouble.
They don't want the first time he talk after they drafted their top pick to then be getting questions in the middle of that. Now, now the next press conference they can say we're just focused on football.
Yeah,
like that's just how this will play out. Someone said the next update we get might be divorce. Yeah, I don't know. That's up. Obviously, that's their personal decision at that point. It would not shock me, but who knows?
And
yeah,
then at that point, I'm
yeah.
just not in anymore.
Yeah,
Right? That's
they got to work that out. That's their own thing.
Up to them.
Yeah, that's their own thing. If they, but of course, what a mess of a couple weeks for everybody involved in self-inflicted involvement there.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to sneak in a quick trash today? I don't think we have time. We'll have to pump.
Let's do the right
I know
half hour.
Drew's excited. Drew suggested today's trash of the day. It's a good one. We'll get to that a little bit later. Up next, though, let's get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Let's head out to Denver. Check in with Zack from 104.3 The Fan. We're going around the AFC West to find out what they are doing on draft night and throughout the draft. We'll do that and find out what the Broncos are doing.
What's up, KC? It's Matt Strom from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to Cody and Gold on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
Been a stormy season in Kansas City. Actually, more storms expected later this week in Kansas City. Century Roofing is the company you're going to want to work with if you have roofing needs. Over 35 years in business, over 35,000 roofs in the Kansas City area. They've done work on my roof multiple times to make sure that its life lives. And look, again, I was like, is there going to be hail? This most recent one last Friday. I didn't get it, but some of you did. And if you want somebody who knows how to work with insurance companies and will give you an honest assessment, Century Roofing is the one. A couple of years ago, when we had a little leak, I'm like, oh, man, are we going to need a new roof? They came over. They're like, no, a couple of repairs will get it done. Your roof still has great life left in it. Let's take care of these and extend the life of your roof. But if you need a new roof, they've installed, again, over 35,000. Don't let somebody just knock on your door or take care of your roof. My friend was complaining about it this weekend, that he let somebody do that a couple of years ago, and he regretted using the company he did because they're not going to stand behind the warranty that Century Roofing can, because of how long they've been in Kansas City and how long they'll continue to be in Kansas City. So book an inspection today at CenturyRoofingKC.com. Trust the pillars of strength. Go to KC Basin Female Owned, CenturyRoofingKC.com.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We're talking those special drops
you won't want to miss. From profit boost to bonus bets and more. And the best part, it's every single day. Just head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. Maybe you want to look at series pricing, and instead of betting an individual game, you want to be able to go and bet overall how many games a particular playoff series is going to go, or who could end up with the most points during that series. You name it, you can check it all out on the FanDuel app and use some of their trends and research tools that are right there in the app. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for primetime, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are not withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and there's a lot of reasons why you should buy from us. How about being Google's highest review rated and your first maintenance is free? Every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. You'll fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
From North, Central, South, the Vollerton Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
Beth was a very successful dentist until her back pain made everyday life impossible. She couldn't sit or drive, and her pain was a 10.
So I ended up selling my dental practice, and it was quite the traumatic experience for several years of just chronic pain.
Beth's orthopedic doctor encouraged her to try natural, non-surgical treatments, and that's when she trusted the medical professionals at QC Kinetics.
You're using your own body to heal itself, and there's something to be said for that.
QC Kinetics used Beth's own healing tools in her blood to help relieve the pain that had robbed her of so many things. Fast forward, now Beth is able to
sit without pain longer than 10 minutes, drive my car 30 minutes, an hour without pain, sit at the dinner table with my husband,
and living the life she thought she'd lost. Get relief and start living again. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
It's deck days at Lowe's, and the savings are stacked. Right now, pros get 15% off all in-stock composite decking from top brands like Trex, TimberTech, and Decorators. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. The deck's stacked in your favor with brands pros trust. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers, not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature-Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Royals coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
For over 36 years, Metal by the Foot has been your source for steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. Located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Scott Parks, and we've launched Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's largest sporting event, presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. Subscribe on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour is brought to you by Leavenworth PD. Be a cop, be yourself. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply today at leavenworthks.gov/police. We'll get back into the Royals, the worst team in baseball so far this season. That's coming up in 25 minutes or so, and where they go from here after last night's just gut punch of a loss. They've lost 8 in a row. We got the draft coming up, though, on Thursday. You and I, Cody, are headed out to Pittsburgh tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and it's going to be a busy couple days. The Royals expected to announce a downtown stadium tomorrow officially, so a lot going on this week. And Denver's got some similarities, right? They've got a stadium project they're working on there. They certainly were the leaders in the AFC West a year ago, and now they look to draft. I got to wait till Friday, it looks like, though. They don't have a first-round pick. To talk more about that, we welcome in Zack from 104.3 The Fan out in Denver. Zack, great to have you on the show. I guess I'll start with this. You guys have been dealing with stadium stuff there. Here we've got the Chiefs moving to Kansas. The Royals are about to announce a downtown stadium. Is it as crazy for you guys as well with people not wanting, obviously, to move, where we have people very passionate about wanting to stay at Arrowhead or wanting to stay at Kauffman?
Yeah, it's been and thanks for having me back on, guys. It's been a divisive topic here for actually a number of years, and that entire conversation really in the past, call it 6 months after talking about it for approximately 6 years, it's starting to come into focus. And there's some people that, do not want the Denver Broncos to leave their current stadium. But the bottom line is, when they got purchased about 3 years ago or so, we knew, because of the wealth of the ownership group, the richest owners in all of the NFL, and just so your listeners can grasp the level of wealth that we're talking about with the Broncos ownership group, the difference between number 1 and number 2, Greg Penner to Dave Tepper in Carolina, the gap between number 1 to number 2 is more money than number 2 is actually worth. The NFL has never had an ownership group as wealthy as the Broncos ownership group, worth $80 billion. David Tepper's worth around $22 billion. So we knew, I'm mentioning that to say, we knew, because the stadium's current site and where it's been for about 25 years, 26 years, it's not their land. They pay a lease. The Broncos have been paying rent for their stadium, and you guys know as well as I do, billionaires of that caliber, they do not rent, they own. So the conversation turned to, well, is the stadium going to stay in downtown Denver, or is it going to move to the suburbs like so many other of their NFL contemporaries have done? And after a long and exhaustive process, they have purchased about $200 million worth of land in downtown Denver. So the stadium's going to stay. It's going to be a district, and so when you guys come to Bronco games in just a couple years, as they plan on getting shovels in the ground within the next 365 days, it's going to look and feel completely different than it has for decades.
Let's talk about their draft, and I guess let's start with their season last year. What is the fear? Like, obviously, Denver's made some powerful moves this offseason, including getting Jalen Waddle, which is why they'll have less to do in the draft than a lot of other teams. What is the feeling around how do you avoid regression, I guess, in Denver, right? The teams that burst onto the scene quickly sometimes are the ones people quickly dismiss as fading away. Why is Denver, I guess, in your mind, either here to stay or at risk?
Well, I think they're here to stay as a competitor in the AFC and certainly in the division. I do not believe, however, that this is going to be, another 14-win football team. No one knows how one-score regression works better than you guys there in Kansas City. It's hard to replicate. The game of football can be really random. It's an oblong ball. It bounces one way this time, another way the next time. And the Broncos just had a shoehorn, a rabbit's foot, call it, up their butt this year. It seemed like at every turn the ball was bouncing their way. And I mean, how do you improve on 14-3? Try to go 15-2? I mean, I suppose, but now you're dealing with a first-place schedule. And so I buy the Broncos' big picture long-term with this ownership group, the resources that they're putting into the team, Sean Payton, Bo Nix. I think this operation is ascending comparatively to where it's been for the last decade, but maintaining a 14-win pace, I just do not see that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think they're certainly going to have a chance to win the division still, but not at the 14-game mark from a year ago. Now, Jalen Waddle essentially is the first-round pick. What's the feeling now about that wide receiver room with Sutton and Waddle to try to ramp up the passing attack?
Well, I think it's one of the better 1-2 punches in the entire league. You know, a fun fact for you, for 2 straight years in the 24 season and the 25 season, Courtland Sutton was the number 1 wide receiver in the National Football League on 3rd and 4th downs. Like I said, back-to-back years, he has been consistent, productive, and now you're basically going to put him as, I think, mostly a number 2. Now, each Sunday is going to take on a texture of its own, and there's going to be Courtland Sutton days, but I think with a broad stroke, in general, Jalen Waddle is now the number 1, and there's not too many number 2s that are better than Courtland Sutton. And the Broncos offense needed it, quite frankly. This was a passing attack that attempted more passes than anyone else in the NFL this past season. Bo Nix, number 1 in attempts, but the production on a down-to-down basis, series-by-series basis, it just really was lacking. And when the run game went away, when J.K. Dobbins went down, the offense just kind of got exposed. It was one of the more poor offenses among playoff teams. This was a team that was buoyed mostly by a top defense, Vance Joseph's side of the football, which is interesting because Sean Payton is known as this offensive guru, but for 3 years, the Broncos offense hasn't really been that good. It's been mostly disjointed. So now it's sort of like one of these things where no excuse is left over, right? You're going to fortify the running back room. I expect them to draft another one maybe as soon as Friday in the 2nd round. They have Evan Ingram at tight end, which they thought was a huge get last year in free agency. You bring in Waddle to stretch the field. And by the way, Sean Payton's given up play calling for the first time in his career because he thinks Davis Webb is currently a better option. So I'm fascinated about this new sort of frontier of offense in Denver.
What are they going to do, I guess? You mentioned a running back in the draft. Asset-wise, it's kind of bleak. 2nd round pick, a couple of 4ths, no 3rd, no 1st. And then obviously they got some late rounders in the 7th. What can they accomplish? Are they looking for any starters in this draft? Or is it all just fill pieces for the roster?
Yeah, it's definitely fill pieces. And I think it's the healthiest setup to have, right? I mean, we've had conversations, my co-host and I, former running back Philip Lindsay, we've had these conversations about, okay, what is the greatest grooved positional pathway for this 2nd round pick to start? And we went position by position. Can you reasonably foresee someone starting at X, Y, and Z? And I got to be honest, I cannot find a player or a position right now that is going to be usurped by a rookie. And this is a testament to where this roster is at. Now, you save some space for, you're never quite sure, right? Maybe someone comes in and, I just mentioned my co-host Philip Lindsay. Right out of the gate, he could play. He was a 1,000-yard rookie Pro Bowler. But barring a situation like that, which is typically an anomaly, on this roster, you're going to have probably that 2nd round pick be a backup. I think every rookie is going to be a backup. Guys, all these draft picks aren't going to make this team. This is a really, really awesome roster from top to bottom, to the point where, and to illustrate art, in the secondary, the 1st round pick a year ago, the 20th overall pick out of Texas, played 5 snaps in the AFC Championship game. On one hand, maybe that's a little bit draft picks.
Zack By from 104.3 The Fan in Denver joining us here on 96.5 The Fan. Lastly for you, how do you perceive the Chiefs right up on Thursday night?
Well, you know what? It's kind of similarly to your question, how you asked me about the Broncos, where you said, is this sort of the new normal? And I said, no, I don't believe it's going to be a 14-win team, but I do buy them here to stay as a competitor. Similarly, but also differently, I do not view the Chiefs as what they were a year ago. I know they will be much improved, and I do think the addition of Kenneth Walker is to a 14-win team. I don't. Will they be back in the playoffs? For sure. Do I have them in Sharpie going to the AFC Championship game like we did for about a half decade? I don't. So I think just trying to be reasonable and measured about it, that's sort of where I have Kansas City. No longer the alpha dog, but among the competitors. And we'll see what they do here in the draft and see how it shakes out this fall.
I think combined, your baseball team and our baseball team might be like 15 games under 500. So it's a great start to the baseball season.
Well, I'll say this. The Rockies a year ago were the worst team in the history of modern baseball. They were outscored by 424 runs, guys. The next most worst run differential a year ago was 212. That is twice as bad as the next worst team. And now you fast forward to this new operation where they changed everything. The owner stepped back, new skipper in a full-time status, new president of baseball, new general manager, new positional coaches around the diamond. They're off to a way better pace. I mean, you're talking about a Rockies team that has just split a 4-game series with the Dodgers, took 2 of 3 from the Blue Jays. So those were 2 teams that were just playing in the World Series a year ago. So we were not looking for a playoff team. I was looking for 2 C's, competent and competitive. And believe it or not, that's what the Rockies have been here through the first month of the season. We'll see if they can maintain it.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly here. Playoff expectations and the worst record in baseball. Zach, good to talk to you, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy the draft.
Hey, cheers, you guys. Thanks for having me on. I know we'll do it again soon.
Absolutely. There you go. Zach By from 104.3 The Fan out in Denver. Yeah, the difference for him, they're excited about a 9-14 start because they were the worst team in baseball. They didn't have playoff expectations.
Worst team in baseball with the Dodgers, too? I mean, yeah, that's like a massive win for...
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah, no, I was like, yeah, it's just way different. Different expectations, different feeling. We'll see.
The Broncos, look, I do like, I told you, the Waddle trade. Like, I do think they got better at the wide receiver room. I still have questions about the ceiling of Bo Nix. The part that I guess, I don't know, not scares me, but that I think is good for the Broncos that I don't like as someone in Kansas City, Sean Payton being willing to give up play calling is actually, I think, a really good thing for them. And from a Chiefs perspective, as long as
he's any good at it, Davis Webb.
Sure. From a Chiefs perspective, I don't like that because I think that is actually a good sign for Denver that Sean Payton was willing to step back a little bit.
I like the only thing I think I actively, because like I do agree with you on that one. The only thing that I think is tough for the Broncos, which is, and I'm trying to think about a team in which this regularly works, so maybe you guys can think of one. Jalen Waddle and Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton's career has been overhyped, I think, kind of like the whole time, but this is the most consistent he's ever been in the NFL the last 2 years. I think that they have two
straight 1,000
two low-end ones.
You don't think Jalen Waddle's a top 20 wide receiver?
No.
I agree with Zach, though. I think from a 1-2 punch. Nobody's saying he's just for sure.
But in the Chiefs receiving room, as we would like to, it's just you're a high-end 2 or a low-end 1. Like, you can get 1,000 yards if the circumstances all come together. And Rice obviously hasn't put that together yet because he's been hurt. But Waddle didn't for like 4 straight years, and then eventually, obviously,